Welcome to Rising Stars, where Miriam Knight, publisher of New Consciousness Review, interviews exciting new voices in the world of progressive and transformational books, films, and ideas, who offer intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us as we celebrate the conscious awakening and explore many expressions of consciousness in action.
We have a wonderful guest today, Alex Hermosillo, a healer and spiritual teacher who has helped over 7,000 people dealing with physical, emotional, spiritual illnesses or chronic pain, often with miraculous and spontaneous healing results. His new book is called A True Story of the Hope, Healing, and Miracles. It details his extraordinary journey to heaven, his angelic encounters, and the miraculous healing abilities he discovered he had. The book has many inspiring client success stories and, more importantly, take-home techniques that anyone can do. Alex also teaches healing practitioners, nurses, physicians, and anyone interested in healing a simple, non-invasive healing technique called Mastery of Healing. It enables anyone to tap into our God-given abilities to heal ourselves and to help others in healing, so we all may experience a peaceful, happy, and healthy life, what Alex calls heaven on earth. I am so delighted to welcome him. Alex, welcome.
Well, thank you, Miriam, for having me on your show today.
Well, you're an experienced radio host. You had your own show called The Happy Healer. I can certainly understand that after reading your book. Tell me, you had this dramatic experience with a baby. I want you to tell our readers how you discovered your healing ability and how you think that Dulce, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I want to know that first experience.
Well, it happened many, many years ago, almost 20. And when the light awakened within me, I was in Mexico on business. My brother and I owned a restaurant in Mexico. And one night, one of our customers came into the restaurant, and a young girl, and she was crying, and she just came up to me and said, "Alex, please help me. My 6-month-old baby has a temperature of 102, 103, can barely breathe, and has a rash throughout its body." As I looked at this child, its limbs were lifeless, and for reasons unknown to me, I held up my arms to her and said, "Hand me your child. I'll be back in a couple of minutes." And this woman handed me her dying baby girl. Behind the restaurant, there was a small house that my brother and I would stay in just to sleep. It was nothing more than a mattress. And I walked into that house and to the bedroom where the mattress was at. And I laid the baby down on the mattress, and I looked at it as it was gasping for air, trying to live. And then I just closed my eyes, put my hands out over the child, and I cried out, "You are healed." And then this beautiful burst of energy went throughout my body, waves and waves of it. And then out of my hands, my eyes were closed, but I remember I was rocking because it was just so much energy coming through my body and my hands. And then after a couple of minutes, I couldn't hear the baby gasping for air. And I thought to myself, well, I better open my eyes to see what's going on. And as I opened my eyes, I looked down at the child. The rash was completely gone. It was breathing normally. Its eyes were glowing with new life. And I thought, oh my God, a miracle just happened. It was very challenging for me because I was raised Catholic, went to Catholic school, and this miracle just happened. I touched the baby on top of its forehead. It was cool to the touch, and I began to weep because knowing that the divine presence was there. I picked up this child and took it back to its mother, and I was in such I was in a different state of consciousness at that time. It was just beautiful.
In your book, you tell of this real state of confusion, that you didn't know uh, how to deal with this gift that you seem to have been given.
But yes, just my brother was there, my brother Eddie, and he saw the woman bringing in the child and me handing it back, and he was like, "Wow!" And I'm like, it was so hard because I was not taught by my parents or society or by the church that we have this ability. So I thought I was so different. Just it was very challenging for me, and actually I didn't want anything to do with it because it was not who I believed I was at that time, but it was challenging.
Well, it seems that the mother, Dulce, had some instinct that made her bring the baby to you. Have you ever wondered about that?
Well, I feel and believe that it was an angel to bring her. Uh, the hospital was very far away, and it was many dirt roads, so I believe she didn't think she could get the child there in time. But I feel truly that it was an angel because we all have our angelic keepers with us, our caretakers. That brought her, told her to bring the child to me, and she did, and it was just a beautiful experience for all of us.
Certainly for that child and the mother. So, how long did it take you to actually accept it? What was it that pushed you onto the next level?
Wow. A year after that experience, let me step back here. That event, that evening was only spoken about a couple of times, once with a close friend and with my mother. But being raised Catholic and going to Catholic church, I have 9 brothers and sisters, so we all went through that. And being taught only Jesus can do that. Uh, it was so challenging, so I just pushed it aside and tried my very best to bury it. But a year later, I had another profound experience that really opened up many doors.
Was that your near death experience?
Yes, it was my near-death experience. I was rushed to the emergency room almost a year exactly after the healing of the child. I had internal bleeding. And as I'm in the emergency room, I was surrounded by these doctors and nurses, and they were trying to save my life, doing their very best. And then suddenly, everything became very peaceful. And then this beautiful golden mist came in, and everything disappeared. The next thing I knew, I was floating maybe 15, 20 feet off the ground, looking downward, and I saw my father, my mother, my 9 brothers, sisters, all lined up in a row, and the woman that actually rushed me to the emergency room, all looking up at me. And I just looked down at them, and I began to wave at them. But I knew at that time that my time here on earth was over, and I was happy. And I did not feel like I was going to leave them behind. I did not feel that they were going to be in pain. I felt they would be okay. Then I turned around, looked upward towards the clouds, and I began to fly through the clouds. And I would get excited. There's more and more excitement building within me. I broke through the clouds, and I saw a pinpoint of white light. Then all of my fear and shame and grief and suffering that I experienced here on earth began to be pulled out of me from the top of my head, out of my feet, as I got closer and closer to the light. Then I entered into the light, and I felt a love and a peace that I have never, ever experienced here on earth before. And I knew that I was home in the presence of God. And as I was up there, I'm looking around, just with this tremendous love. I began to see other souls, and I knew there were souls, but there were actually beings of light, and each one had a different amount of light. They also had like a form of physical bodies and faces and etc. And as I'm acknowledging them, experiencing them, each one had a different amount of light. And I realized at that moment, somehow I knew that these souls that were here in heaven came from earth, and the light reflected who they were while they were on earth. So if they were kind and loving and peaceful and generous, they had a lot of light. If they were judgmental, angry, blame, judge, ego, and vanity, they had less light, because the light was a creative energy. It was all nurturing, all loving, all healing energy.
Fascinating.
It was just that I was given that awareness. It was so beautiful. And there's many of them all over. And then looking further out, there was other beings of light, and they had so much light. It was like looking into the sun. And as I focused more intentionally at them, I realized that these were the enlightened ones, the Mother Teresas, the Gandhis, the Buddhas, the Jesus, the Mother Marys of the world. And their light reflected who they were. Mm. And as I'm looking at them, I said, I want to be that light. And I remember that. I want to be that light, because it was so magnificent. And then one of them began to approach me. And I began to receive information. And the information that was given to me was that all pain and suffering that humanity experiences was due to the lack of light. So if there was much more light, there's more peace, more happiness, more joy, more health, more abundance of all good things. And as this being of light continued to approach me, it entered me in what I can call, I can only describe it as either an anointment or an awakening happened as it entered me. And the next thing I knew,
you're going to have to hold that thought, Alex,
beautiful.
Because we have to take a station break. Wow, that came fast. We're speaking with Alex Hermosillo, Hope, Healing, and Miracles. We'll be right back.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM-FM. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Matt Connerton here. Join Jen Coffey and I twice a week for Matt Connerton Unleashed, a political talk show that's a little different than what you're used to. No liberal or conservative agenda here, just an honest dialogue about truth and how things really work in the world of politics. Matt Connerton Unleashed, every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of the Inspired Parenting radio show, where every week we bring you empowering information from the diverse fields of conscious parenting, education, neuroscience, consciousness, health, and metaphysics to support you in nurturing the best in your children. So if you're interested in understanding what shapes your children's minds, spirits, and hearts, join me every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and prepare to be inspired.
Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio, IOM-FM.
Alex, we left you in heaven before the break. My goodness. Why did you decide to come back?
Well, Miriam, I can't say I still feel like I'm in heaven. From the moment I wake up to the time I go to bed, I always feel like I'm in heaven, and do my best to be there always.
Yeah, well, you had a transition through hell before you actually arrived there. So
Yes.
tell us about it.
Well, I came back, and when that beautiful being of light entered me, the next thing I heard was beep, beep, beep. And I woke up and I was in a hospital bed the next morning. And it was just like, oh no, I didn't want to be here. I wanted to be back in that place of heaven, pure love. So I tried to wish myself back a couple of times, but it just didn't work, and I gave up after 10, 15 minutes. And I really didn't want to be back here. But the woman that did rush me to the emergency room was there, and she just came and gave me a kiss on the forehead, and I felt for some reason that was okay to be back. If did they send me back, or did I decide to come back? I feel like my soul needed to come back to continue to gain wisdom. But when I was back, when this woman came to me, I could feel her. I could actually feel her energy. I could feel her love, her peace and joy that was within her. But I could also feel her grief and sorrows and unhappiness and pains. And that was so interesting. I acknowledged it right away when she walked up to me. But I could also see her energy also. And so when I went to heaven, I went through a purification. As I went to the light, all of my fear, shame, and grief was pulled out of me. So I come back in this pure state of pure love and peace. So now I have this ability to feel and see. And after I left the hospital, it was very challenging for me because I could feel people's sorrows and pains, but also their greed and angers, and their energies will just be different. Some would be more light, others would be a little bit less, or even some dark energies there. So it was very challenging, and I went through some great challenges right after that. Definitely great life challenges.
You didn't really have a mentor to help you understand and control this incoming energy. You became an empath, and you were sort of taking on or reading the energies of all those around you. How did you cope with it?
Well, it was through a lot of prayer, this remembering when I was in heaven. That was the most important thing to me, because it was so challenging. And of course, you read the book, but the healings continued. My mother was taken to the hospital, and they had to do surgery on her, and after she came back home to rest, her nose would bleed because they put those little tubes in her nose for oxygen, and her nose would bleed, 4 or 5 times a week, and a couple of times a week we would have to take her to the emergency room because I was living at my parents' at that time. And one day she came into the living room out of her bedroom and said, "Alex, please help me. My nose is bleeding." And it was just gushing out of her nose and out of her mouth also. And I looked at her and said, "Sit down, Mother." And she sat down and put my hand out. I was maybe 3 or 4 feet away from her, and this burst of energy came out, and she screamed. And I thought, oh my God, I killed her. And I ran into my room. I locked the door behind me, thinking that I just killed my mother. With this energy, this power that came out of my hand. The first time with the child, it was very profound, and now this. The outcomes I thought were different. The child, killed, and my mother, I believed I killed her, and I prayed and prayed, but then I gathered enough courage to go out to see my mother, how she was doing, and she said, "Alex, it all stopped." And I said, "Oh my God." I said, "Well, that's good." And I drove off to a bar and got drunk and didn't get home till 3 a.m, but it continued to happen. This energy would just come out when it felt like it, Source, the divine God, and then I would have some experiences of leaving my body, going back, to this beautiful place, and I became alcoholic, and trying to numb it, to get away with that. I am not this, because it was so hard for me because I didn't know anybody like that anywhere in the whole world. And I actually thought that God, that there was a mistake in heaven, that I was supposed to be in heaven. And but it was just very challenging me. It became harder and harder. So I turned to drugs, um, and then I left my job, and I became homeless. And I just wanted to go back to that place. Some suicidal even thoughts, because I just want to leave this world. And
What
and
actually brought you around?
what brought me around was when I was homeless. I laid in the alleys, and I always placed my hands on my chest, and I said, God loves me. God loves me. And says, I do not understand, but I move forward. I do not understand, but I move forward. And that's how for these months and months and months, it would just, I knew that the source, that God loved me, because I experienced that great love in heaven, and I wanted it. I wanted to experience that great love and peace. So I remember I'm just going to bring light and love and healing into myself. God loves me. I'm not bringing light, love, and healing because I wanted to be that great amount of light. So I continued to do it. It began to build up in me. And it changed my energies. It changed my consciousness. I began to disperse the negativity of others or humanity. And then other people will come to me, spiritual people, and say, "Oh, you have this gift. Oh, I can see your energy," and etc. I goes, "Okay," and I began to accept it more, accept it. And at the end, I knew that I am the man today because of my experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I experienced heaven, that great love and peace, but my soul needed to experience the pain of humanity. So to have no judgment, I'm so blessed. I have no judgment, for I have been many, many things, but I've always been the light.
That is the biggest understanding, to accept that you are the light, especially when you have been so far down and so hopeless, but you always had that faith to cling to. The faith in God seems to be integral to your healing practice. How is it that you never lost it even during the bad times?
I believe, well, the truth is we all have that within us. We are always connected. No matter what our challenges are here on earth, we are always connected to the divine, connected to source, to that light. I always had that. Even though I went through these great, great challenges, I always knew it somehow. I had never lost that. So I just continued to bring that into myself, knowing, and I've been so fortunate to have had this beautiful journey to heaven. So I kept on doing my very best to draw back to me, to become it once again.
So you actually had someone come into your life who reflected to you who you were, who saw who you were. Did that make a big difference?
Yes, it did. Yes, I met this woman, and she was a famous medium, been on TV shows and movies and etc. And she told me, her cousin met me, and then asked me to go visit her, and I went to visit her, and she told me looked into my soul, my existence, and basically told me, this is who you are. And she says, I see your light, and this beautiful golden light, and that she has not seen it very often, here on earth, and she's seen thousands of people. And so I began to accept this wisdom that this individual gave me, yes, that I was here to assist humanity.
Wow. So how do you understand what happens when you help someone heal?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. We are beings of light, and so the soul is light. The body has light, energy. For example, if the liver has energy, and that's how it functions. That's how the cells function, the nerves, how the blood, purification. So if the liver functions properly, say at 100% of energy, 100% of light, say now that this particular liver only has 70% energy or 70% light within it. So 30% of it is not functioning, so people will say this is liver disease. So with the individual, what I do for myself, I say I am light, I am love, I'm healing, and my energies, my body, my consciousness, the spirit becomes much more than 100%. I explained this to an individual a couple of days ago. So I say, maybe I bring in 150, 180% energy or light within me, around me, and then I share it with the individual to the liver, and then the liver accepts this, stimulating the cells, the nerves, the blood, awakening them, nurturing them, and then healing them. Yeah, kind of like a battery charger, but very
plugging your into source.
Plugging into source. I bring source, an abundance of source of God's love. Let's call it, the love of source of the Creator, the divine. Bring in abundance, and then share it with others.
Alex, before we go on, what is your website? How do people connect with you?
They could go to my website. It's masteryofenergyhealing.com.
Masteryofenergyhealing.com. Very good. Okay.
Yes.
So we're just a moment or two before our next break, and we are speaking with Alex Hermosillo. That's Hermosillo. My impeccable Latin pronunciation. And he is the author of a new book called, actually, it's a reissue of your book, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Called A True Story of Hope, Healing, and Miracles. I hope you'll stay with us. We're going to break for a few messages, and we'll be back.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Feed your soul with waves of consciousness on OMTimes Radio.
About hope, healing, and miracles. Alex, you're located in Arizona, is that right?
Yes, Miriam. I'm located in Tempe, Arizona. It's a suburb of Phoenix, where Arizona State University is located at.
Very good. But you discovered at some stage in your process that you actually can do distance healing and distance teaching as well.
Well, yes. When, for example, with myself, we spoke about healing, how the physical body heals, but there's so many aspects of us. So we have our spirit, the one we call the soul, and one has the emotions. One has the physical body. So each one vibrates at a different energy. So we do private sessions. So people actually come in, and for example, with we deal with people with the cancers and tumors, migraines, etc. And we send light into the individual. The soul absorbs it, the consciousness, the physical body. And for me, realizing, being in the presence, and people would ask, for me to pray to people. And what we found out is that a person's name is the signature of who they are. So a person's name is a vibration of their essence, of who they are. So we do the prayers. We do distant healing, and either a name for first name, first and last, or a picture, and so we do that, and it's just as powerful either in person or through a photo. And we also do the phone sessions too.
You have some of the most amazing testimonials and case histories that I've read in this area. I think one of the most mind-blowing anecdotes in your book was about the group session that you held where you brought up the little boy and girl. Tell us about that.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much for bringing that up. It is just so amazing. I was, a TV station interviewed me, and a couple of people that was, that I helped. One had severe heart disease. The other one was bedridden with migraines. And so we wanted a place for people to come and meet me and see me, so I can teach them how to take care of themselves and others. And so it was actually at a bookstore, and all these people came up, and I asked for 2 volunteers, and we picked these 2 children. Their parents gave permission, and there was one woman that was truly experiencing some great pain, physically and also emotionally. And we had these 2 children come up and simply placed their hands on this elderly woman, and everyone had such an incredible experience, a divine,
You instructed the children what to do, didn't you?
Yes, send light, love, and healing.
As simple as that.
As simple as that, yes. We are beings of light. Love is what created us, and healing sustains us on earth.
But what I found so impressive was that you actually walked away, and it was just those 2 children who were transmitting this light, love, and healing.
Yes, for the light is within all of us, the exact same light. Yes.
And they were too young to actually not believe it.
Exactly. They were pure. They were pure. They only knew love. Because they were so young, so small. That's all they know is love. It was just beautiful.
And this woman, the bruises went away, and she was able to stand up and walk back to her chair.
Yes. The bruises went away. She was able to walk. She was able to move her arms because her daughter wanted to bring her to see me that night because she had injuries and some other things. And she actually fell down and severely injured her hip, and her shoulder was bruised, and she couldn't move it. She was, almost very teary. She had tears in her eyes. When we brought her up, but she was in a tremendous amount of pain. And just a couple of minutes with these 2 beautiful little children, it was all gone. She was showing me, look, I can move my arms, my hands, and everybody was so amazed. It was just beautiful.
Now, can everyone be healed? How important is their own faith in the process?
when one has faith, they're much more open. They're much more open, and faith, lack of faith comes from the mind. You know, the heart knows what is love, what is not love, what is light, what is not light. But faith can help people. There's we've had people that did not have faith. Well, I'll come and check and see what happens. I said, okay, and we send light, love, and healing, and sometimes they heal very quickly. And in working with so many people that that have cancers and tumors and strokes and all these diseases, they'll come up and say, Alex, I've seen the best doctors in the country. You're my last hope. And I said, I'll tell them I'll do my very best, to help you. But and I would tell them actually, faith would help you even greater because it opens you up. It opens up the mind. But healing, there's many different aspects of healing. The most important that I feel, that is the healing of the spirit. Because many people go through many challenges. Many people go through some great struggles. And the healing, bringing peace to the soul is the most important. Bringing peace and healing and love to the heart. So that all it knows, so that the heart would only know love is so magnificent. And then once the spirit is at peace and the heart is full of love, and it'll manifest sometimes into the complete physical healing, what people would call miracle healings. But the true healing is of one's soul, their spirit, because it's internal.
And of course, the spirit gets congested and damaged and broken and fractured over the course of a lifetime. And the experiences of the lifetime are held within the spirit. You go through quite a number of different, your 10 words, a number of different aspects of brokenness. Tell us about that.
Well, the brokenness, just out there for eons and eons. For example, when people go to war, they'll say, well, let's break their spirits, correct? Because once the spirit is broken, there's not enough energy for the soul or the individual to move forward. So it's been used for eons, when there's battles or wars, but when the spirit is in the presence of the divine, it remembers what it is. It remembers that they are source, that they are light. And it begins to rebalance itself. It begins to receive information from source. When one spirit is broken, it's very challenging for it to receive information from source. Let's say source comes from everywhere. Okay, the earth, the moon, the suns, the plants, the water, from others, from the angelic realm, from the ascended masters and avatars. Okay, so when one's going through great challenges,
Alex, you're fading on me. Please speak into the microphone.
Okay, can you hear me now?
No, you're fading.
I'm fading?
Now you're there. Okay.
Well, it happens when we talk about the enlightened ones, I guess. But because the individual soul, with this cloud around them, okay, this great cloud around their consciousness, and it's challenging for the soul to receive information from source, the energy from source, or their higher realms of themselves, the higher realms of God, one may call it. So it's to nurture,
sort of like static in the system.
Exactly. If you're a radio and you're trying to break through many different waves of information, but a lot of these waves are very, let's say, harsh, painful. How can you tune into the direct source? So by cleaning out the harshness, of those other radio waves, one can connect. And some of this is blame. These energies can be blame, anger, judgment, hate, not being able to forgive oneself or forgive others.
Yeah. It's a strange journey that we make through life where we have to experience all the troubles and difficulties and then come out the other side and remember source.
Yes, it is, Miriam. Someone asked me, Alex, they asked me, what is the soul? And I replied, the soul is all experiences of all incarnations. And when the soul goes through an experience, and if they can forgive themselves or others, that harshness, the painfulness of that experience is not there. It does not occupy the soul. Mm-hmm. Some people would call this negative karma. Mm-hmm. So we all go through challenges, and it depends what decisions we make because of the challenge. If we can forgive ourselves and others, we cleanse the soul of negativity of that experience. We have the experience, but there's no judgment, no anger, no hate. So even with illness or what people do to us, our coworkers, bosses, or even society or even government, this is, I am in the now, I am experiencing this, I am light, I am love, I am the healing energies for myself, all people, and all things. And that's how an individual moves forward.
One of the things that so impressed me about your book was that it was very simple. It was simple, straightforward, easy to do, and yet incredibly profound. I was impressed by the generosity of both the book, and you also have a CD that you came out with your meditation. It's called Meditation to Heal Your Mind, Body, and Spirit. I Now Release, I Now Bring In. Is that available on your website, Alex?
That's available on the website, through Amazon, and all outlets. And I'm glad that you brought the meditation. The meditation came from my near-death experience. So as I went to the light, all of my fear, shame, grief, and pain was removed from me.
And so you were trying to recreate that.
Some people
Alex, we have to take another break now. Yes. But we will be right back and go into that more deeply. We're speaking with Alex Hermosillo, author of Hope, Healing, and Miracles. Come back right after the break.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
The name is Bond. James Bond.
No, the name is Joe. The Joe Show. And we are returning back for our 9th season here on OMTimes Radio. So tune in every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, on OMTimes.com/mobile. You can take us wherever you go. Yeah!
Do you want to be a better communicator? Do you want to better connect with the important people in your life? Do you want to enrich your relationships? If so, join me, Matthew Cooper, on the Positive Control System Show every Wednesday evening at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on OMTimes Radio. I'll meet you there.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the Internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. The cutting edge of conscious radio. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Speaking with Alex Hermosillo, author of Hope, Healing, and Miracles. And Alex, what is your website again?
My website is masteryofenergyhealing.com.
masteryofenergyhealing.com. That's great. Before the break, we were talking about your meditation CD that you imported back from heaven. So I'm very impressed.
Well, thank you. I love that, imported back from heaven. But yes, it's just I wanted to help people because I truly love helping people, and I want people to live heaven on earth. So the meditation takes the individual. For example, I now release from every cell of my body, from my heart to mind, stress. So it helps the individual release stress, anxiety, worries, fear, grief, anger, those lower vibrations that don't have as much light as peace, love, and joy. And then the second part actually is, and I'll bring in peace, love, joy, wisdom, and etc. So think of it this way: we every experience we ever had in our life is within us. So this meditation CD is my journey to heaven as I entered into the great love and peace. So it takes that person through those steps to release the lower vibrational and hurtful energies and bring in peace, love, and healing to nurture the soul, their emotions, and even it helps the physical body. Because when there's less anger or fear within the body, they'll begin to heal, and that's emotionally also to get that out of to get it out of the consciousness, out of the subconscious.
It's incredible to think that something so simple could be so powerful, and yet you have thousands and thousands of case histories of people who have had miraculous healings. What is a miracle? Do you sense angelic presence? Is it just a combination of that plus the willingness of the person to heal?
The angelic ones are always with every single one of us. We all have one with us. And with myself, before I prepare for a person, I bring in light, love, and healing into myself, by placing my hands in the center of my chest. I am light, I am love, I am the healing energies. And that information is in the back of the book, the steps. As I do that, I increase my energy. One raises their consciousness, and one becomes the divine presence of God's love. And then we're able to share that with others. And since others have that great connection to source, to the angelic realms, and they're very open, sometimes there is what people call a spontaneous healing or miracle healing of the heart disease, the cancers, tumors, etc. But it's a coordination between the soul and the individual's presence in bringing forth the light. So it does happen, and it's very beautiful. And if everyone can be light, love, and healing, fill up their heart with it, their consciousness, their thoughts, their body with it, we would be doing this all throughout the entire world.
Well, this is another aspect of energy medicine that we've been talking about on this show. My last show, we were talking about vibrational energy, and it all seems to be focused on bringing vibration, whether it's light or sound or thought. I mean, thought is a form of vibration, and thought can both create illness as well as reverse it. And this is what you teach your students. Can everyone learn to do this?
Yes. We have had hundreds and hundreds of people come and take the Mastery of Energy Healing classes. There was this one woman.
How long does it take, Alex?
Oh, wow. Well, we have 3 levels. And the first level is one day, and it runs from 10 o'clock in the morning until 5 in the evening. And people have profound experiences there, not only for themselves, because they're releasing because a person will release toxins, poisons, grief, negativity, disease, and all this out. It's a complete removal of these lower vibrational energies and experiencing, and then replace it with light, love, and healing. So one raises their energies, their consciousness very quickly in one day. And we had a individual that was a surgical nurse at a university in Tucson, and she worked with pre-op before people would have surgeries for cancer. And she took the class, and she would work on these patients before they would go in, and some of them did not have cancer when they entered.
Wow.
They were gone. So
that must have been a surprise.
She was very surprised, and she was so happy to be able to do this for these individuals, to be in service, just like these two little children did this. She did it, and there's many more. It's beautiful what people could do. Yes.
I remember one story in your book about the baby who was diagnosed with cancer, and then when they didn't find it, when they went in to look, he actually was spared having the chemo and all that. So that is life-saving in multiple levels.
Oh, yes, definitely. And, Maureen, where there is love, all things are possible. And, we all have this ability. We truly, some people say, Alex, you're a messenger from heaven because you have this wisdom. And I say, I'm just here to remind you that we all come from the same light. We all have the same ability.
Can people actually do this on themselves?
Yes. Oh, definitely. In our classes, we have people that want to learn this to nurture and take care of themselves because, people are struggling, cancers and arthritis, migraines. So they'll come to class. So it's a technique mainly to nurture, support yourself, for the rest of your life here on earth. If you're dealing with something, or just have some tools that you can nurture and balance yourself forever, But by the time the end of the class, you're able to share this technique and help others.
Cool. Is there a technique that you can share with our listeners that they can do at home?
Yes, definitely. Thank you for asking. What I do, and if I ask all the listeners out there, if you'd like to participate here, is simply place your hands in the center of your chest. And with your thoughts, you simply say to yourself, I now bring into every cell of my body light, love, and healing. And take a beautiful deep breath and allow your soul to drink from this as your heart, your consciousness, your body becomes it. You may now exhale. For I am light. I am love. And I am the healing energies of all people and all things. For I am light. For I am love. For I am the healing energies for myself, all people, and all things. And if an individual could do that 5 minutes in the morning, 5 in the evening, it would change their consciousness, their vibration, stimulating the cells of the body, to give them more life, more energy. And when one becomes that, it changes them. They're more balanced, more peaceful, and they could share this with others. And once again, that information's in the back of the book, and the meditation definitely helps people with that.
You also offer a monthly healing prayer service. How does that work?
Well, the healing prayer request is actually in 2 days. It'll be done this Friday. And people go to our website, they sign up, and there's a small fee of $25, and they'll send, it could be either for themselves or for a loved one. And also animals. We work on a lot of animals. And just briefly describe what they're dealing with. And on Friday, I'll have the list of people, and I actually place my hands over each name, because we do private sessions also with this individual's name. And we say, we send you light, love, and healing. And we allow the the soul of this individual, their conscious, their heart, and their body to accept and absorb this great love that comes from the divine. I just draw it to me, and then we send it directly focused to the individual. And we had an individual that was placed on there, and this woman's daughter was going to die. Actually, had 3 heart attacks and brain dead, and we did that. Yes, and that information will be put up a little bit later on, I believe next week or the following week. But the doctors told her, your daughter, don't expect her to live. You need to come see her because she's brain dead. She already had 3 heart attacks. And she went to the hospital, and her daughter was there talking to her mother, and they thought it was a miracle. So, and just with this other little child that had the cancer, it happens,
Alex, it was such a blessed day that you accepted your role as a healer and a teacher. And I'm just so grateful that you wrote the book and I was able to read it and bring this to our listeners. Alex Hermosillo, author of Hope, Healing, and Miracles, as well as his CD. And his website is masterofenergyhealing.com. Alex, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me on your show, and we send you much light, my friend. God bless.
God bless. Thank you. And I hope you'll join us next week. And in the meantime, visit my website, New Consciousness Review, at ncreview.com, where you will find our whole archive of many years of fascinating interviews, book reviews, film reviews, and our blog, ncreview.com. Thank you for listening. Go out and be the light. Goodbye.